Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 19. Navai jano jātu kathañcanāvrajen.
न वै जनो जातु कथञ्चनावृजे
mukunda-sevy anyavad aṅga saṁsṛtim.
mukunda-sevī anyavad aṅga saṁsṛtim
smaran mukundāṅghry-upagūhanam punar.
smaran mukunda-aṅghri-upagūhanam punaḥ
vihātum icchen rasa-graho janaḥ.
vihātum icchet na rasa-graho janaḥ.
Thank you, Mataji. Word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Na, never, why, certainly, janaḥ, a person, jātu, at any time, kathañcana, somehow or other, āvrajet, does not undergo, mukunda-sevy, the devotee of the Lord, anyavad, like others, aṅga, oh my dear, saṁsṛtim, material existence, smaran, remembering, mukunda-aṅghri, the lotus feet of the Lord, upagūhanam, embracing, punaḥ, again, vihātum, willing to give up, icchet, desire, now never, rasa-grahaḥ, one who has relished the mellow, janaḥ, person. Translation, my dear Vasudeva, even though a devotee of Lord Kṛṣṇa sometimes fall down, somehow or the other, he certainly does not undergo material existence like others, fruity workouts, etc. Because a person who has once relished the taste of the lotus feet of the Lord can do nothing but remember that ecstasy again and again. Purport is big in 3 paragraphs. Maybe I can explain one by one. Bhaira by pen. Om ajnana-timirandasya jnana-anjana-shalakaya chakshmurum militam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sriyatapatakabalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Ch Vishakānvitam Jaya Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostume Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Papanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this is the in continuation of the conversation between Narada Muni and Vasudeva. This is going on, and until Vasudeva get enlightened and convinced in the mood of enlightening Srimad Bhagavatam. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, a devotee of the Lord automatically becomes uninterested in the enchantment of material existence because he is rasa-graha, or one who has tasted the sweetness of the lotus feet of Lord Kṛṣṇa. So, for example, once we have tasted rasgulla or gulab jamun, and we never want to leave it. And there is a competition also, and a lot of desires. Prabhu, you have served only one gulab jam for me. Why don't you serve one more? So we may tend to request. So why? Because we have already tasted it and we got very much attracted for that rasgulla. Similarly, once we started serving the Supreme Lord, and once we taste the sweetness, we never want to leave it. There are certainly many instances where devotees of the Lord have fallen down due to uncongenial association, just like fruity workers who are always prone to degradation. But even though he falls down, a devotee is never to be considered the same as a fallen karmi. A karmi suffers the result of his own fruitive reactions, whereas a devotee is reformed by chastisement directed by the Lord himself. So here Prabhupada gives one wonderful analogy between a fallen devotee and also a karmi person who is not a devotee at all. For example, the sufferings of an orphan and the sufferings of a beloved child of a king are not at the same. That means orphan is another who does not have any parents or no caretakers. But whereas this child is the son of a king, an orphan is really poor because he has no one to take care of him. But a beloved son of a rich man, although he appears to be on the same level as the orphan, is always under the vigilance of his capable father, because the father has kept separate eye where this fellow has gone, how I can bring him back, how I can find him out by sending my men. In this way, the rich man thinks. A devotee of the Lord, due to wrong association, sometimes imitates the fruity workers. It appears like that. The fruity workers want to lord it over the material world. Similarly, a neophyte devotee foolishly thinks of accumulating some material power in exchange for devotional service. A neophyte devotee is treated as, he's a new to Krishna consciousness. Then at the beginning, foolishly he may think that, he can accumulate some power, some political power or some self-power or name, fame, etc. in exchange of devotional service. Such foolish devotees are sometimes put into difficulty by the Lord himself. As a special favor, he may remove all material paraphernalia. By such action, the bewildered devotee is forsaken by all friends and relatives, and so he comes to his senses again by the mercy of the Lord, and is set right to execute his devotional service. So at the beginning, the neophyte devotee, he behaves himself whimsically and without taking any care for his bhakti life. Thereby, he sometimes falls down. But though he falls down, but he is a devotee of the Lord. He is very dear to Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, 30th sloka, the Lord explains, Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak. Sadhuryeva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisha. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination that I am the servant of the Lord and Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And like that, he with great endeavor, he continues, but somehow or the other, he may fall down sometimes, but we should not think that he is a durachara. But Lord says here, apichet sudurachara. The word su is prefixed here. Sudurachara means one committing the most abominable action, but at the same time, he is a devotee of the Lord. That's why he is called sudurachara. And in the purport, the law, Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely that the material contamination is so strong that even a yogi fully engaged in the service of the Lord sometimes becomes ensnared. But in Krishna consciousness, he is so strong that such an occasional fall down is also at once rectified. Therefore, the process of bhakti yoga, devotional service, is always success. No one should deride a devotee for some accidental fall down from the ideal path. As far explained in the next words, such occasional fall down will be stopped in due course as soon as a devotee is completely situated in Krishna consciousness. And in 9.31, the Lord mentions here, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat chantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijanehi name bhakta pranashyati. Very wonderful words. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. So this is the bountiful package of a person who is devotee of Krishna. There are innumerable benefits, but if devotee forgets the service of the Lord, offending the devotee, then automatically he falls down. But if he is thinking himself servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, then there is no question of fall down for him. But somehow or the other, if he falls down, the Lord, what he says here, Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. And he says, Kaunteya pratijanati name bhakti pranashyati. That means he quickly becomes righteous and attain lasting peace. O son of Kunti, you declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. In this way, Lord is giving unlimited benefits for his own devotee. And for us to understand that how Krishna is taking so much care for a devotee. Even though he falls down, Krishna brings him up and put him in a righteous position. And in para 1, in 1519, a devotee of the Lord, due to wrong association, sometimes imitates pretty workers. The pretty workers want Lord it over the material world. So normally, we think we are so great devotee. I'm chanting 16 rounds. And I'm following full regulated principles also. Very good. And what the devotee does, he watches cinemas, movies, and Facebook, social media, and thereby he is taking, false association. It's a wrong association. But he is not under the guidance of a spiritual master. That's why this is a cause for his fall down. Here, Srila Prabhupada says, such foolish devotees are sometimes put into difficulty. So that is not a royal road for him, but he has to pick up himself. In the Bhagavad Gita also it is said that such fallen devotees are given a chance to take birth in a family of a highly qualified brahmanas or in a rich mercantile family. Janma Aishwarya Sutashri. A devotee in such a position is not as fortunate as one who is chastised by the Lord and put into a position seemingly of helpless. The devotee who becomes helpless by the will of the Lord is more fortunate than those who are born in good families. See, here the comparison is given. A person who has done a lot of pious activities, he may take birth again in a rich aristocratic family, Janma, Aishwarya, Sutashri. But here, the devotee who becomes helpless by the will of the Lord is more fortunate than those who are born in good families. So taking birth in a good family, of course, it gives a little facility for the person who can advance. Say, if he has taken birth in a rich family, he has to use that riches for the service of the Lord. But if he uses for his own sense gratification, and there is no question of progress. That's why a devotee, who had fallen, and Krishna put him in a helpless condition, and he sees that again he will progress. The fallen devotees born in a good family may forget the lotus feet of the Lord because they are less fortunate. But the devotee who is put into a forlorn condition is more fortunate because he swiftly returns to the lotus feet of the Lord, thinking himself helpless all around. Pure devotional service is so spiritually relishable that a devotee becomes automatically uninterested in material enjoyment. Now we are also chanting holy name of the Lord. We are also coming for Mangala early in the morning. We are also hearing Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. But due to some material wrong association, sometimes we miss the niyamas, and thereby gradually we fall in from our spiritual path. And at that time, we are supposed to continue our spiritual path without a break. There are so many things, like how we can able to progress it can be judged by certain symptoms. When we chant the holy name of the Lord, and if you are inclined or if you are inquisitive, chant more and more. 16 rounds is not a thing. And I want to chant beyond that. And sometimes some devotee who is relishing this Harinama, and he even does not know that when the 16 rounds got over. But in our case, we are struggling. Oh, when this, now 14th round completed, 15th round completed, now 16th round. After 16th round, the last we chant Jai Sri Krishna, like that, we want to relax. But this is not a good symptom. Good symptom is the one we want to chant more and more. And even after completing 16 rounds also, whenever we find time, immediately we pick up our japa bag and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The devotee who is finding taste in Harinam, then he does not mind how many rounds he chants. He keeps on chanting on and on, on and on, on and on. And also he chants the other holy names of the Lord, Madhava, Madhusudana, Govinda, like that he keeps on chanting. Okay, so this is the sign of perfection in progressive devotional service. A pure devotee continuously remembers the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and does not forget him even for a moment, not even in exchange for the opulence of the three words. See, even if we give the whole 14 planetary system, yeah, you are the king of all this 14 planetary system, you come and rule me, he does not want. He says, Hare Krishna, please give me my japa bag, then I can chant very nicely, and I don't want anything. I just want to serve the Lord's servant and nothing else. In this way, this devotee is very much inclined to the lotus feet of the Lord. For this reason, Lord says, he declares that in 931 Bhagavad Gita, my devotee never perishes. So then why does it happen? A fall down of a devotee means somehow he offends devotees. If he does this Vaishnava aparadh, then automatically there is a chance of falling down. So that's why we should not offend any devotees. And continue your chanting. And chanting actually protects devotees from any kinds of fall down. It may be habitual fall down, accidental fall down, or wantonly doing Vaishnava aparadha, any kind. We should not leave service of the Lord, service of the Vaishnavas, chanting the holy name of the Lord, following the 4 regulatory principles. All these things will protect us. If anything we leave it, then automatically there is a fall down also. So sometimes Lord puts the devotees into most abominable condition where he cannot get any chance, for any bhakti. Then at that time, devotees only come and they will rescue him. Here I want to show you a small PPT on this. These points say chanting protects the devotees from all accidental fall down. We can also take this analogy of Draupadi and Pandavas. They were all put into helpless condition. They could not able to do anything. Why Krishna has done like this? Because in that situation they will be purified, and if they start depending on the Supreme Lord Krishna, and automatically they will be purified. Always they can remember Krishna. These 2 points are these principles are very important. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Whatever we are doing, all the spiritual activities, depending on these 2 principles only. So these are the various benefits of being a devotee. And being a devotee also, when we get this lot of benefits, and we should not misuse them. We should think that these are all given by the Lord facilities. I need to optimally utilize for my Krishna consciousness. And in Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami has given one negative advertisement. What is the negative advertisement? These days, we also keep seeing some negative advertisement. Don't purchase this. And if they put a one condition there. Similarly, Rupa Goswami also, he puts one negative ad. What is that? Don't go to Kashi Ghat in Vrindavan. Why? If you go there and if you have darshan of the lotus feet of Govinda, you forget everybody. You forget your wife, you forget your children, you forget your friends and relatives. So that's why I'm warning you, don't go to Keshi Ghat. So this is the negative ad given by Rupa Goswami. So nicely he explained. If anybody goes there, then indirectly he says that a person who goes to this Keshi Ghat and takes darshan of the Supreme Lord, and he will never hanker in this material world, but he will become a wonderful devotee. So at the beginning I was mentioning, the orphan, he is not taken care by anyone. But whereas a rich man's son, he is automatically taken care, but nobody bothers about the orphan. But if a rich man's son is missing, and there is everywhere a lot of advertisement and a lot of searching, going on and on. So it is just like a difference between a street dog and a licensed dog. So which one we want, we can choose. If you want to become a street dog and you are not taken care at all, and you are beaten, and you are on the road, and you have to suffer from hot sun and rain, and suddenly sometimes municipality people also come and they take you away. This is the condition of a street dog. But whereas a licensed dog, it is so nicely groomed, and it is indoors, and it's properly fed, it is nicely taken care by the owner. Similarly, a devotee of the Lord is also properly taken care, even though if there are some fall downs. The gist of this verse is, falling down is not a big problem. Many people, they fall down, but not trying to get up from our fall down is the real problem. Why does it happen? Because Vaishnava Aparadha is the cause of this fall down. That's why in our dealings with Vaishnava, we should be very, very careful. So to summarize this verse, the devotee who becomes helpless by the will of the Lord is more fortunate than those who are born in good families. A devotee is detached from materialistic desires and attached to Krishna's lotus feet. See, so nice benefit, A pure devotee continuously remembers the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna and does not forget him for even a moment. So this can be possible only by pure devotees association, taking shelter of a guru, and serving the servant of the Lord. With all these things, our heart can be purified, and there is no chance of a fall down. We should see that unnecessarily I should not misuse the resources given by the devotees of the Lord, which is actually arranged by the Supreme Lord himself. Thank you very much. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.